what do you see for the future of maybe not all church, but for your church, the church you are leading? What are you looking down the road going, this might be where we're headed after the restrictions are lifted? How might things look?
That's the question that's been really dangerous for me lately.
Let's get into the danger zone. Yeah. Come on. Give me the danger.
And I think the way you phrase that question is a perfect setup too. What does the future look like for our church, for our local context? And that's something that I think a lot of us, the way we were trained in ministry and whatnot, is to see what our heroes are doing and try to implement that with our own flavor into our context. And for us, though I am still a huge proponent of the methods and the thinking that you and I are a part of, I think for Salem and for Cross Creek, it's going to probably look different. And it scares me because I don't know exactly where we're going. It frustrates other people because I don't know exactly where we're going, and it angers some people because I don't know exactly where we're going. And it's been a year, and I still don't know exactly where we're going. But you think about it, that's life, right? You just take a step and deal with what comes, and you got Jesus with you, and you can handle it. So all of that to say, I don't know where we're going, but it is what we're looking at is stepping away from doing things the same way we, and by we I mean the American church, has done it for the last 20 years. We said we were a different kind of church, a church where people don't normally go to church. But when you would show up to our service, it's just like every other church. 3 songs, a message, and then maybe a closing song or something like that. And then go to your small group and serve once a week. And you've checked your Christian check boxes and you're good to go. And I think the hidden messages in that is kind of like what I said. Christianity is just these simple tasks and you're set. And the thing that really got me thinking was, and it was hard, watching some people that were core people before COVID really, really struggle with leadership decisions, really struggle in their personal faith because they didn't have a weekly church service. And somehow I had failed as, the guy planting this church to equip them for when their church service is gone, because, depending on your theological bent, someday that might be gone. And for most of Christianity, that was not an option. So I have not prepared people or trained people that your faith is your life. It is not, I guess hobby is a harsh word, but the church is not a dispenser. Yeah, and the church is not a dispenser of religious services. The church is you wherever you are. And so we're looking at what that looks like. I'll do a plug for this book that I get no money for. But this has been our guide lately, Future Church, Will Mancini, who, it's interesting, if you're a Carey Nieuwhof fan, he writes in the back a little blurb for it, and then Will goes and kind of critiques Carey pretty harshly, which is, I thought, really cool of Carey and Will that they're willing to do that with each other. But it's this idea that program church has kind of come and gone its route. The attractional model is kind of going out. I was thinking about it. It's kind of like this analogy is going to break down pretty quickly. But Andy Stanley likes to say, marry your mission and date your model, right?
Yeah.
Which, if you're married, you shouldn't be dating a model, was always my knee-jerk answer to that. But
that sounds very Old Testament right there.
Right? It's kind of like we were dating a certain model of church. And before COVID, we kind of had these feelings of maybe this isn't the one for me. Like maybe I'm putting more into this than I'm putting more into this relationship than she is, right? This model. And then COVID came and we kind of broke up. And at first, a lot of us were like, oh, I miss them so much. But then we kind of realized, you know what? They weren't that good for me, and I'm kind of better off without them. There's a whole future open up. And now it feels like that church model wants to get back together. And I'm saying, I'm not so sure we should do that. Like opening back up and going right back to how things were. I don't think that's the way to go. One thing Will Mancini says in the book is, I'll paraphrase, if 80% of your time, energy, money, effort goes into a Sunday service, are you a church or a production company? I was like, oh man, that kind of hit home. And then the other thing that just really floored me was for church planters, did you plant a church hoping disciples would come out of that, or did you plant disciples hoping a church would grow out of that? And I would honestly have to say we probably planted a church with a church service and a certain model, hoping disciples would come out of that, so the other way around. And I think starting with disciple first will grow the type of church that is going to be needed in the future.